Dude, if you're looking to buy an airplane and the Comanche 250 is not on your radar, stop what you're doing and pay attention. Also, there's probably going to be a ton of outtakes in this because I'm ad-libbing this as I go, and I know that I'm not good at that. Hey guys, I'm Brian, and if you're watching this right now, you may be asking yourself, why? Why would I sell my Grumman and buy a plane that's old enough to be my father? If my father was a plane, he's not a plane. That's not how that works. Why would I buy a 1961 Comanche 250? Well, I'm going to tell you. So after flying around in my Grumman for 4.5, 5 years, I decided aviation was becoming just a little bit too affordable. I'm the type of guy who likes to be challenged both physically and also financially. The physical part's taken care of with the single door entry on this side, this giant pain in the butt. And financially, this right here is taking care of the rest of that. Let's talk about price. Right now, the plane market's an absolute joke, and it's only getting funnier. This Comanche 250 will outperform a Cessna 182 in every aspect of its flying for a fraction of the cost. The market's going crazy. These things seem to be staying a little bit lower while the rest of them are going through the ceiling. And it's not just the 182. This plane can play ball with the Cirrus SR-22, the Bonanza, pick your flavor. The Mooney, get out of here with that. We don't need that trash. This plane can compete with or outperform most fast singles for pennies on the dollar. Now, what are you going to do with all that money you saved? Well, I'll tell you what, the maintenance on this is probably going to take care of most of that, maybe a little bit more, but we're going to fly higher, we're going to fly faster, and we're going to haul whatever we want. Let's talk about hauling stuff. This baggage compartment is big enough to haul your golf clubs, your bicycles. You can put all your GoPros in here, anything you want. Sometimes I'll come to the airport and there'll be a couple of homeless dudes just sleeping here in this baggage compartment. It's absolutely huge. When you're getting into the plane, you can actually step on the flap, but I've talked to a lot of Comanche owners, and we all feel like you probably shouldn't, even though you can, so we all just kind of take this big awkward step up onto the wing like that before we get in, and then you just do the best you can with this door. Now I want to talk a little bit about the strength of this airplane, the durability, and how overbuilt it actually is. Let me show you this wing spar. So back here in the back seat of the plane, there's this flap, and we can lift this up, and we can actually get a good look at the wing spar of this airplane. The wing spar of the Comanche was made from the bones of the men who built it. It's a very recursive wing spar. The wing spar of the Comanche 250 was designed to handle 7.5 Gs. You know what that means? That means no 5G interference. They were way ahead of their time. All these other planes are having to deal with this. Comanche owners don't. Here's a small piece of a wing spar from a Cessna 182. Just look at that. Nobody wants to fly under that. Not me, not you. So you're probably asking, how do I keep these old avionics up to date? Well, back then it was the same as now. What you do is you get a disc from the factory, and you take the disc and you put it into the hard drive, which is included in the aircraft. You plug it in, and now you can see the GPS is going to start booting up like normal, and then it's going to connect to the master server at Airplanes Online. It's going to make its connection, and once the connection is made, it's going to start downloading updated maps from west to east. You can see here it's starting with the Pacific Northwest, and then it's going to progress east until all the maps are up to date. Now you might be looking at this paint and thinking to yourself, wow, the paint's pretty bad shape. There's lots of spots where it's chipped and peeling and coming off. Actually, the paint's in great shape. What it is this aircraft is so fast that it's just flying itself right out of its own paint job. No, really, when it comes to speed, we cruise at about 155 knots. That's what most people are telling me. I haven't yet done the true airspeed calculation just because it hasn't occurred to me to do so. So 155 knots. If you're familiar with other Piper models, you might be asking yourself or asking me, how's the forward visibility? A lot of Pipers don't have great forward visibility because the windows are very narrow. And this one's no exception, but you don't pay $300 a year for a 4-flight subscription so you can stare out the window. This thing may as well not even be here. You pay good money for 4-flight. Get your eyes down and look at the line. Track up. Always track up. So as we all know, cows have 4 stomachs. Well, this plane has 4 bladders. The engineers who built this plane didn't want to do anything new. They wanted to do what worked. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this is aviation's cow. You heard me right, and just like a cow, this plane holds 90 gallons of mildly leaded fuel. That's 540 pounds of liquid cash just hanging out in your wings. I know what you're thinking, what am I going to do with all this extra wing cash? Don't worry, Piper gave us 2 extra cylinders on our engine to help convert our wing cash into feelings of loss and insecurity about our financial future. You probably only have 1 bladder. This airplane's got 4. You know what that means? That means you can pee in this plane 3 times before the plane even has to land once. As you can see behind me, sometimes it actually gets cold and even snows in Texas, and it can get super cold flying these little planes way up high at altitude. Let me show you what Piper has done to make it a little more comfortable for you. In 1961, Piper added a heater and a defroster to the aircraft so you can be comfortable no matter how cold it is. Prior to them adding that feature, you may recall models earlier than 61, they actually heated the plane with a wood-burning stove in the back seat. And as you can imagine, that's pretty problematic, especially with the rising cost of wood right now. But with the creature comforts that they added in 61, it doesn't matter how cold it is or how much ice is on my plane, I'm going to be super comfortable when I go flying. Do you hate sumping fuel tanks as much as I do? Well, guess what? The Piper Comanche solves this problem completely. I'm not even making this up. There are no sumps on the bottom of these tanks. I'm not even joking. You got a 15-gallon fuel tank here, a 30-gallon fuel tank here. No sumps. No sumps at all. Instead, what the Comanche has is a little tube in the middle of the belly of the plane. I can't even say it with a straight face. It's true. That tube right there. And then what you do is you go inside the plane and you switch to all 4 tanks and you press a button and it just leaks out the bottom. So what I have is a bowl and you just put one tank, drain it for 3 seconds, put another tank, drain it for 3 seconds. You do that 4 times and look at the bowl and then try to get the gas back into the wings. So sumping airplane tanks is kind of a pain. With the Piper Comanche, they've made it worse. Carry, right now my useful load is a little over, just under 1,200 pounds. If I wanted to add tip tanks that are super cheap and easy to find, that would give me another, I think 200 pounds. I think it maxes out at 1,400 pound useful load. Maybe it's 1,300, I don't know. So it carries a lot, carries it fast. All right, thanks everybody for watching. Go buy a Comanche, go learn about Comanches. Thank you Gold Seal for sponsoring the channel. Thanks to the Patreons, thank you guys. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna put a fire on and I'm gonna eat some comfort foods because it is too cold for this Texas boy today.
This baggage compartment is big enough to teach a square dancing class to a bunch of overweight teenagers from the Upper Peninsula. This wing spar won People Magazine's sexiest wing spar alive.
But with these creature comforts, no matter how cold it gets or how much ice is on the plane, I'm going to be warm as a cucumber. That's not an expression, but I'm going to be good to go flying.
The wing spar of the Comanche was made from the knuckles of a very rare dinosaur with a cat allergy. There were no cats.
I know what you're thinking, Brian, what am I going to do with all my wing cash now? Well, don't worry. Piper gave us 2 extra cylinders on the engine to help justify not tipping the line guy when he cleans your windshield.
This baggage compartment is almost big enough to carry all the money that you're going to need to spend on aircraft maintenance. The Comanche wing spar was made from the shin bones of a man who always inserts the USB plug right side up the very first time, every single time. You might be wondering why this wing spar is green. Well, that's because it's not ripe yet. But if you look back here in the back, you can see it's already turned yellow, so it's just now getting to its prime. This baggage compartment is large enough to host a Super Bowl party, even if your team didn't make the Super Bowl, because your quarterback insisted on running it up the middle with 12 seconds left for a first down instead of at least taking a shot at the end zone, Dak. If anyone needs me during the Super Bowl, I'll be hanging out here in my baggage compartment. Comanche wing spars are made from the teeth of a rare ape that only has 4 legs. Only has 4 legs.
This here's the money sucker. The money goes in here, and then it goes through there. It travels through the money sucker, and then it comes out as vapor.
This wing spar is made from the collarbone of a man who never kicked the dishwasher door lid when it was open at night when he was walking through the...
The Comanche 250 has 4 bladders. You probably only have the 1. You know what that means? That means you're going to be peeing all over the inside of this thing before you ever have to land. What other plane can you do that?
Click this link to see the most recent video upload. Click this link to see a video that YouTube thinks you might like. Click this link to subscribe to my channel.